Instead of from Pause and Rock, can I give I should say, welcome back to one of the most actually influential guitarists, I would say, in and busiest, as many people I would tell you many times, and Joel Orchestra. I mean, I don't want to say from Whitesnake, from Cher, just Joel Orchestra is a name already. So how are you, first of all?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's really a pleasure having you here because there's so many news to unpack and also something to take back from the past. But we go straight forward to the last because there's also the iconic album that it will be released in July, I think.
Mhm.
So already some single is out. So let's go with order, starting from Fade, your last album from Joel Orchestra 13th, which is your own project. Of course, Joel, like you are really like a versatile musician, but what we can gather from Joel Orchestra 13 in the soul of the music, because it's your composition, it's your music, it's you that we listen there.
Yeah, I mean, long before things took off for me as a sideman or band member, and I had all the gigs,
Of course.
I was making my own music. I released three instrumental albums, primarily instrumental, but those were independently released, undefined.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Moon is Falling, 13 acoustic songs. Then what happened is I started to get the gigs. I got ended up in Night Ranger, and I got the Broadway show Rock of Ages, and I joined Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So I had suddenly these rock fans that were looking at my solo stuff, and they're going like, "What is this?" It was kind of like fusion instrumental stuff, and then fingerstyle acoustic.
Okay.
And so they said, "How come you're not?" Making rock music for your solo stuff. And I thought, well, I'm going to. And it didn't really interest me to make like a shred
Yeah. So
instrumental
yeah.
rock album. I wanted to make like something that was more about the songwriting,
Okay.
something that was more about what I was doing in the bands, but something where I would have creative control, like be able to write the
Okay.
vocal melody, not just the guitar riffs, but write the lyrics, the vocal melody,
Hey,
oversee the artwork, oversee the
okay.
mix, kind of have creative control. And so I began to release albums from what's called Joel Hoekstra's 13. That's my rock side project. I look at it
Yeah.
like. And so I've been able to release four albums: Dying to Live, Running Games, Crash of Life, and now From the Fade.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
released not too long ago this year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's just an opportunity that gives me creative control as a writer. I want to thank Frontiers for that, for giving me
Amazing. Yeah.
an
Amazing.
avenue for it to be released and for them to be cool enough to give me the opportunity to write the music
Of course.
and I guess be an artist as much as I can.
Yours as
There's a
well.
distinction between, I suppose, being a successful guitar player in various gigs where you're a
Yeah.
sideman or whatever, and then having another avenue where
Our
you're
project.
creating your own
Yeah.
music.
Exactly.
So I appreciate them very much giving
Of
me
course.
that support, and want to thank them for that while we're at it here.
Yes, and
So
like you mentioned, you went through, like I said, composing because you're, a guitarist, so composing and writing riff, rhythm, solos, and then you went to composing and writing beats, bass line, vocals, and
well, I don't compose the drums
okay,
or the bass or the keyboards.
okay,
What I do as a uh, I guess something where I would make everybody in the band want to play on it, right? Vinny Appice,
yeah,
Tony Franklin, Derek Sherinian,
amazing,
Jeff Scott Soto on backing vocals, oddly enough, have been a part of all four records.
of
The
course,
lead vocals, long story short, have changed essentially from Russell Allen to Girish Pradhan on the latest two. But I basically just let people do what they want to
yeah,
do. Girish probably gets it the worst. I do give him a scratch vocal track of me
okay,
singing the album, so he hears what I sing, and then he just sings it way, way better than I ever could.
okay,
But everybody else, I just kind of let them do what they
yeah.
want to do.
So it's kind of feeling the vibe of a band, like a
Yeah.
art rock band, and
Well, as a producer, I mean, I do enough recording for other people that I know my favorite thing to hear is just do your thing.
yeah,
I want to hear just do your thing because that means you're hired to be you,
yeah,
not
exactly,
hired to have them tell you what to play. Or so
exactly.
I try to stay out of people's way and let
And
them
that's
play the way they want to play.
and I think that's one of the reasons that still people like are looking for, as you said, demanded that Joel Orchestra 13 would have been more, like a rock sound with vocals, like, more less than instrumental, more like a rock.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you put it on, it
Yeah,
sounds like a band.
yeah, of
The hitch being is it's my opportunity where I get to do all the writing.
course.
And, lyrically and everything, so make it a more personalized experience. But
Okay.
it seemed kind of boring to have some album that was all about guitar chops. So, I mean, I try and, do good guitar
That's
work on it, and play good solos, etc. But we're putting it, basing entire albums around my technique doesn't seem to really. I don't know. It's not so appealing to me.
I mean, that's also shows that you, like I said, as again, you're also versatile to go through as a solo guitarist, an artist. So this gives an idea who is a Joel Orchestra as an artist, as you said before, because it's important to understand that people that might see you through the years with Whitesnake, Night Ranger, TSO, they also are aware that you have an artistic background going from Broadway that I think influenced somehow who is Joel Orchestra today, because you have a lot of backgrounds that are completely from those gigantic production and beautiful production of TSO with, like I said, Rock of Ages and with Cher. I mean, that's thing that shapes someone in a way. So how much these, if there has been influences from this project and went into entire Joel Orchestra 13, and also from the Fade, because this is the last album.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what your question is. I'm sorry.
About like about your background being artistic,
Yeah,
then yeah,
I think wanting to be an artist throughout there. I think it's mainly for my own gratification. Just I guess part of my musical legacy, not just being summed up as a guy who had some good gigs, but to make your own music along the way. That's important for me.
of course, and lyric wise also, from the Fade, what we can see the Fade going, because it's a look, it feels savior, but also I think there's something introspective from the Fade, because it's also important to understand the message and what's you want to communicate to the world with through the Fade, from the Fade.
I mean, I like people to have their own personalized experience with
Okay,
the
yeah,
lyrics, but essentially, like all the albums kind of have a theme. They're not necessarily concept albums, but they all definitely have a lyrical theme, and
yeah,
the lyrical theme of From the Fade is my personal relationship with
yeah.
music. So
So
sometimes what you're listening to lyrically is, maybe contemplating that. Sometimes you're listening to an actual dialogue between me and music.
okay, that's
Um,
interesting. Like, to you like because that's what
so
we all want to do. Have also a dialogue with music itself.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of it is that just kind of, the my personal relationship with
That's,
music, or yeah.
I mean, if it was just the Joel Orchestra of 15, when it was you were 15 or 14, I don't know, the 7 years old kid, 7 years old Joel, listening to From the Fade, or about, let's forget a little about your career, but just only about this project. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, if I was like, when I started guitar, I'd be like, awesome. Like, you mean I have my own album? Like, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe all the stuff. I guess that's what keeps you going, right? You just kind of have like this level of enthusiasm for all the little things along the way. Otherwise, times get so tough that you would just give it
Of
up
course, of
because,
course.
yeah, you have to have a level of enthusiasm for even less than ideal conditions. I think
Yeah.
in music like that, just that carries you through your love for it, right? I mean,
Oh,
that kind of goes without saying a lot of times. I mean, I don't talk about it because I feel like it's understood. Why else would you
yeah.
do it? You have to love this to do it. You
Exactly.
know.
And that's your life, that's your job, that's who you are. Like,
Yeah,
who that's gonna be like
it's who you are, and I set out to do it for better or for worse. I was
yeah,
like, all
and
right, man, Like, and as it turns out, it's been a lot more better than I would have ever expected. I think a lot of good things have happened for me that I never would
Yeah,
have dreamed would have happened. So, I mean, you can
good.
do nothing but be thankful for that. And try and keep things in perspective and realize,
They're
try and
really
take a look, try and
super
take a look
meaningful.
at what got you there and try and do more of it.
Yeah, and that's I think also what keeps you going, and being really one of the most people that are the guitarists that are really like people look after, like, oh, because you stay fit grounded at the same time, because you're not going to be like some you keep yourself humble and fit grounded and see the reality that's a more realistic that many other people in the business could be. And also I think you have an eye for the business as well. That's how I see, like, you know how to move, you know what is important or you know what is not, at least from your perspective, from for your career. Because going from as I said, we when we talked in the first time we spoke, when you did you started in Broadway, and we mentioned about it was the beginning that we start to know TSO, but that's an amazing project. You and Catherine, you and Kristen there are like, when you go, I made this question to Chris once. I said, when you go up in the thing with the guitar, how do you feel like there? And just to make a joke. So of course it's not easy to I know about the how heavy is touring with the TSO, about the 2 shows per day, East Coast, West Coast. So also I want to ask you about touring, because it must be tough, and especially with the TSO, it's something that, how do you keep yourself really like not being like, okay, I need to breathe, because it's not like it just a month's touring. It's like twice a day.
Yeah, I guess okay, so I've been doing TSO about 16 years or so.
Yeah.
So it's given me a lot of time to get used to the workload. It is
Oh,
definitely a difficult tour schedule compared to most bands.
yeah.
But they if you can acclimate yourself to that and keep yourself focused to get through the work days, you
Yeah.
do have typically like 2 days off a week.
Okay.
It's not unreasonable, Monday and Tuesday, to kind of
Okay.
recuperate. I think it's important not to be out partying and not to be out exhausting yourself
Of
doing other
course.
stuff. I
Of
try to
course.
rest. The one thing I do like to do is maybe get online and teach some virtual lessons. What
That's
that does, it gives me
yeah.
the opportunity to pick up my guitar and feel like I'm a guitar player, play something different than the set that we're playing
Yeah, for every
on
day.
the
Yeah.
tour, talk about some music theory, talk about whatever it may be with the student that I'm teaching,
Yeah.
something that allows me to play something different, kind of clears my head, takes
That's
my mind off of the tour. And then
yeah.
when I go back to the tour on the Wednesday and we're
Yeah. That's
restarting, it's typically Monday and Tuesday off as like a normal. Then it allows me to
that's
feel
yeah.
rejuvenated and
That's
like back
yeah,
in.
and that's always in the music. You find your own, let's say, your own space, your own. I don't want to say your own way of breathing out of a live show, like, or recharging as well. Because it's important. Like, you also teach to a lot of students online, and I think anyone wants to join and get guitar lesson from Joel. So I think you have kind of a waiting list, but it's not that difficult to get in touch for having a guitar lessons with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think to get back to the
Yeah,
TSO thing, I just don't expend energy
of
elsewhere.
course.
The one exception maybe being when you talk about teaching those lessons, but it's for
Yeah,
me that energy is helpful. I'm not
absolutely.
expending physical energy. My mental energy is being
Okay.
expended, but it's different. It's like it
Okay.
clears the tour from my head for a
Exactly.
couple days a little bit, and just
Exactly.
I don't. I'm a People laugh when I go show up at the arena. The first thing I do is get dressed for the gigs.
Yeah.
I get myself all suited up. I don't want the stress of like trying to get dressed at the last minute for the gig.
Of
I don't
course.
really. I have not a lot of ability to do anything but the task at hand. So I'll
Of course.
play a lot of the show, play guitar, whatever
Yeah.
I can. But I try to stay focused while out
Of
with that.
course. And I mean, TSO is such a beautiful, like, because of here in Europe, we still didn't get the chance to have TSO, and I think it would be amazing for European audience to have them, because that's when I saw that, even when I think you were guys went on was a morning news thing that you went to perform. It was amazing,
Mhm.
because no increase how much is always happy laughing about. It was like, oh, see you, Chris, it's on a morning news doing that, and see you guys there. You have like it's like there are so spotlight when you're playing with TSO. There is, it's like something that is more than a show. It's something that is cinematic, that for people, it's for family, it doesn't matter the genre. It's something that bring all together in a holiday
Yeah.
moment. And
No, it's a very unique
yeah,
gig. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is
it's
different than
amazing. Yeah.
everything else. It's got a lot of different elements. It's a very unique show that's put together, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a hybrid of a lot of different elements. And but
Yeah.
it, I suppose having great friendships built through that with the band members. I've been touring with those guys for, like I said, 16 years. The band has remained largely intact.
Yeah.
So touring with, I just have a lot of friendships there, a lot of friendships in the
Oh,
fan base, and friendships with even the managers. And you get close. It's
of
like a
course, you
little
spend some time with
little holiday family that you're used
yeah.
to spending your time with.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if there is no this type of, friendship, or at least I want to say chemistry or affection when you're touring, when you are in the music scene, they become like also your family. Sometimes doesn't work that well, but you can see in from TSO that it's really well done. It's not fake at all. It's like completely all of you being there and just showing who you are. The same thing works for Joel Orchestra 13, and also I was reading about Stephen Purse, what's going on with Stephen Purse, if we can understand, like, because I really admire him, and I know through mutual friend, you're starting a project together, you're jumping,
Oh, no, no, no. I'm playing guitar in his solo
okay,
band.
solo band.
Yeah.
So that's,
Mm.
you're gonna have some live shows upcoming, because also so the peak and everything.
Yeah, yeah. We just had the first one a couple weeks ago,
Okay,
and then got a couple coming up. Not this weekend, of course, that we're in
of
here. We're
course.
doing this interview on Friday, but next weekend, Friday
Okay.
and Sunday, I'm playing with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I thought it was a great opportunity. It was really nice of Steven to reach out and ask
Nice.
me about playing guitar for him, and it's a great catalog. It's great
Yeah.
songs. And my main challenge has been that I had a lot of my schedule kind of intact and built when I was offered those shows, and so it's
Yeah.
been kind of like, oh dear God, I got all these other things to do. I had to, leading into the first show, I think, do the Monsters of Rock cruise, and
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
I had two different rock and roll fantasy camps that I needed to counsel at, and a Broadway's Rock of Ages band gig, and so I was just kind of like,
Ah,
well,
perfect.
I think within like couple weeks there was probably about 70, 75 songs played or something like that. So I was just kind of like, man, get me through.
Yeah.
Um, um, so anyway, now that the first gig is passed, I feel like I can like settle in a little bit more. I had a lot of sessions waiting, recording
Yeah.
sessions. I got home and kind of got those out of the way, and now I've really been working hard on the
Yeah.
Stephen Piercy material leading into gigs number 2 and 3. And
Yeah.
I just want to do the best I can with anything
Of
that I get.
course.
And it was definitely that first one was quite a challenge with as much as I had to do
Of
leading
course.
into it.
Because you're always learning a lot of like songs material, like almost immediately. I think, I mean, it's when you are it's when you're a musician and an artist, also a gift, like Rudy Sarso once said in an interview we did about, we were talking about, of course, Randy Road. They said when you're a musician and you have the music that you're a rock star, you're born with it, you don't become it. So, and that's me personally, when I see you playing from with anyone, what I see, and when I say to the people, like one of the actual in the contemporary area guitarists that people have to look for as a way of living music and working in the music scene is you, or Doug Aldrich, or Nuno Bettencourt, because you guys keep the feet on the ground, being who you are, and never say, even someone called you, oh, do you want to join? Yeah, of course, because it's friend, it's an opportunity, it's to challenge as well, like you said. So, and also we have just going back also to the releases, because of course there's a lot to unpack. I mean, I don't want to do it with 3 hours of interview, because of course I think it's also you're always busy, but I also, it's there are iconic album that will there already single, I think, released. There will be a album coming out on July.
Yeah, I don't know the release date offhand, but this is the second album from that
Yeah,
group, and that, of course, is my Whitesnake bandmate Tommy Aldridge on drums, and Michael
yeah,
Sweet from Striper and I share
yeah,
guitar duties. Marco Mendoza on
yeah,
bass,
yeah,
and Nathan James on vocals, who's
yeah,
incredible singer from the UK that
yeah.
has his own band Inglorious that he's fronted for
Nice,
years
yeah.
now.
So let's say that there are a lot of news that people are really there to they are literally to follow you to be on spot, like on this, like to see where Joe Orchestra is at the moment. Because of course, like many people could ask, okay, so the Whitesnake era is over, blah blah blah. We leave that open for, we leave that to open for whatever you want to say. But of course, like it has been one of the most, I think. Everyone loves Whitesnake. Everyone, me per first person ever. So, of course, I don't want to say like that is over, because it's sad. It will never be over, because music lives forever. So I think never is going to be over with you personally. Because of course, for me, when I look to your read about your music career, you played with for me, the two most important and influential person in my life, which one is Cher and one is David. So how does it work with both of them? Because they could be similar personality, like in as person, but two different style. So I was, being with them, not being with, just playing, this different genre as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say my best experience, as far as having like a single boss who I really related with and got along with, is David Coverdale. For
Yeah,
me, this is my personal slant that I liked David's
yeah,
um, approach as a person. You just had to be respectful and transparent with David, and then everything was no
yeah,
drama, no issues.
of
It was
course,
pretty easy actually. Despite what maybe people would think, it was like really easy. I think we just clicked. We just got along. I was really glad to be there
of
and very
course,
respectful and worked really hard and did the best I could.
of course.
And so we got along great. I'd say with Sherry, when you have a pop gig, it's
Yeah,
not so much about your direct interaction with the pop star, because
yeah,
people buy the ticket to go see Cher, and if she's making an album, there's going to be some producer that
yeah,
has and different musicians, the live bands, and I'm going to be a part of it. And so it's more about the interaction with like the musicians that you're working with, the
yeah,
music director. Cher was great as a person. She never did anything
of
that
course,
was unprofessional at all. I mean, she was a top pro, and
yeah,
I appreciate all the great experiences,
yeah,
doing but I'd say in a pop gig, you're not as necessary. You're not part of the band. You're not on the T-shirt. You're
yeah,
not
of course, yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
album. So it's not the same kind of dynamic, and that's
yeah.
not her fault. That's the
That's
nature, I
how,
say, of a
yeah.
rock gig versus a pop gig.
Of course, and also with Whitesnake, had that think, if I remember, that when he did a Purple album, there was kind of as well of also your influences in revisiting those songs as well. So you kind of had let's say essay into
Yeah.
rewriting them, which was also
Yeah, I
nice.
mean, I'd say that when it came to the Purple album, I mean, I joined the band when that album was already being worked
Okay,
on, and let's say the song had one guitar part. Reb pretty much had already played that
yeah,
part, so it was kind of like, all right, either I just double him, or I create a
okay,
different rhythm part, or David did want to
yeah, of
reimagine it. He didn't want to do
course.
like what people call it a re-record, which is it's not. It's like it was a reworking.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly, it's a difference.
Yeah,
Thank you for
and it's like there are some songs that are wildly different. I mean, just in
yeah,
terms of like the way they were like
exactly.
written and recorded on or
Yeah,
rewritten, recorded or rearranged
exactly.
on the Purple album. So anyway, it was a lot more creative for me than people probably realize, because I had to think about what to
Yeah,
play, and
of course.
most of the time I had the solos note for note off of the original versions if David wanted that, but he basically never wanted that. He just like wanted me to like play
Really.
my own solos and
Yeah,
make this something that was new and different.
of course. But so this is like as well as I said, different personality, different thing. But also, Whitesnake will be always remembered as one of the biggest, the biggest vocalist for the front band. Is speaking just for me because that's where I came from as a share. But also you, like you said, you went through Rock of Ages, through TSO, Iconic, your own project. I mean, we can continue and do that all the time, but how you are able to maintain your own identity in all of that? There's been a moment in all your career you were like, wait, am I going to the right direction or am I losing who I am? Like your own,
No,
like,
I mean, I think the answer to that is continuing to make your own music, and that I
yeah,
think, and if you follow where life takes you
yeah,
musically and all the different avenues, then you do kind of become your own person. You have your own style and your own identity. Um, I like to think that style is not just forged through ability, but it's forged
exactly,
through limitations. If you have things that you can't play, and everybody's got something they can't play. Nah,
exactly.
there's no guitar player that has every little niche and every corner of the world covered in terms of
Of
what they
course,
can do. There's always something that you can't cover. So a lot of your ability is great, but also for me, I think the identity or your
yeah.
identifiability is often forged through just kind of what you fall back on or what you like learn to become more of like the center of what it is
Yeah,
you play.
exactly. And that's also about like, because I think that, when we think about guitarists, we always try to tend as many, younger kids that are still older in guitar. And think you saw a lot of them about when you do your own lesson, when you teach them how to play or how to perform. So also want to ask you, because it's important people knows also that you are doing this class, because it's a beautiful opportunity to meet their own hero legend, but also to get a way you play. So for you, how it's structured, for example, a lesson. So just also to make aware people they could what they could not buy but learn.
Well, I think, learning guitar, like me talking about actually learning music.
Yeah,
Learning music, I think you just want to recognize the fact that there's no one way to do it.
yeah.
I think I try and give people, like in my lessons, a variety of topics and then move
Okay.
forward in all of them. And obviously, some of it is just what your hands can do, getting some
Of course.
coordination. Some of it is going to be knowledge, music
Of course, of
theory,
music. Yeah, of
the
course.
different scale systems, the harmony, the way things are structured, the way things lay out on the fingerboard. Obviously, developing your ear is important. The more
Yeah,
you play, the more your ear develops.
of
So, I
course.
mean, the people, the more time they spend with it, that really is the only key. If I were
Yeah.
to be truthful, is just about how much time you spend with it, more so than anything. There's so many different ways that people are great players, but I think the one thing that holds that they
Yes.
have in common is that they all spend a lot of time with it.
Depend when you have a passion.
Whether they read music or don't read music, whether they shred or whether they
Exactly.
don't shred, whether they, play
Yeah,
Stratocasters or Les Pauls or nylon
yeah,
strings. There's a million ways to
of
be
course.
good. It
Yeah,
just, yeah.
and that's, I mean, I also, but you're, because you're not a shredder, you're not a solo guitarist, you're a complete one. So that's, I think, why it's easy. People came to you to learn because they can find their own technique through you. Because you're not there to say, okay, this is my technique, learn to be the virtuoso one. You just, I think you give
Mhm.
them the instrument to move through how they feel, and maybe then get, you know, personalize their own technique as they want to. But this year performing and recording, and what is that today still, push you and moves you? Because you could have been like, okay, I'm done, I have my family, I go back home and bye bye. So what is that today still, push you to be like, because you're not going there just for work, it is job. But you can see it when you're playing live, because there is a new album, there are new things coming out, so there's must be something that pushes you every day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to see where it all goes, the excitement
Okay.
of I suppose, in my life, realizing that most of this never should have happened, and being like,
Okay.
wow, like how did all this occur for me? So maybe just seeing where that all goes. But there is an element of it that's work, because I mean, like anybody else, we have expenses in life and we need to
Of
make
course.
money and do our jobs. So like there's definitely part of it is that, and wanting to get better is that, like
Yeah,
wanting to continue to like actually improve.
yeah,
So
exactly.
all of that put together, like paying the bills, wanting to get better, and then seeing where it all goes is exciting, because you sometimes
Yeah,
have crazy experiences that you can't ever foresee. I've had a
yeah.
bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and so for me as a fan, like I just see you through different stages, and I mean, knowing also, as I said, Chris is so it's nice. I really like looking both of you with the TSO and the friendship you have. The same thing when I talk with him and we talk about TSO. He said when I'm with Joel, we have this chemistry, and you can see that. So that's something really beautiful that I think that people could learn, you see, through seeing the chemistry and friendship, because sometimes the music, sometimes is like about being envy, when you're friendship is it's much easier when you're not just want the best for the person next to you, or you're just sharing nice moment. Also, it's something that can push you to move forward in music and to learn more and to be more in the music scene, which let's say it's business, yeah, but it's also a beautiful way to grow and to change. And it's the universal language anyway. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But also coming back to From the Fade. So if somebody listen from the face from the Fade 20 years from now, without knowing nothing about your history, who is Joel Hoekstra, what do you hope they understand about you throughout this record?
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a little too like self-important. I make the albums kind of as like, I suppose, statements for whatever mindset I'm in at the time,
Okay.
and like a landmark of doing my own. I'm hopefully record the style of music that people like, but when it comes to like whether or not they like it, and I mean this in the best possible way, that's not why I make it. Like
Yeah,
I make it for myself.
of course.
Yeah. And then so it's out there as like something that I did in that time period. So I don't stress too much about that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd probably feel like shit if everybody online was like, this album sucks or whatever. I'd
Cool.
probably be like, a liar with what I'm saying. But
No, no,
in generally
no.
speaking, I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for myself.
That's beautiful because you're being honest, transparent, and showing who you are in any stage or field we can see you performing or producing or whatever. It's just you. So aside from the album and the iconic and Stephen Percy, what's the I don't know the recent news that we can say to see at least so where we can see Joel Orchestra next? We
I
just
mean, it's a interesting year. I mean, I've got a handful of gigs with
oh,
Brandon
I'm
Gibbs. We do acoustic shows. I've got a handful of gigs with Broadway's Rock of Ages band. I play a little bit with those guys, which is kind of like seeing me play a cover gig. It's just kind of light and fun, nothing
That's
deep.
good.
Recording wise, I think people can look forward to another Revolution Saints
Yeah,
album
I
fairly
was
soon,
yeah.
with Dean Castronovo, of course, from Journey. So excited to, have another one of those on the way. And, beyond that, I mean, I just, the Stephen Piercy thing should be a big part of my year. And then, of
Okay.
course, Trans-Siberian Orchestra comes along.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
one way or another, I stay busy every day and just
Yeah.
make sure I keep working with music. And then
Yes.
different things happen from that.
Yeah, you're the one of the busiest person I know aside Kids and Joe. Is also one that is always busy all the time. Every time I speak cycle, he said to me, I'm like a pinball going everywhere because I'm playing everywhere. But that's I think why people reminds a lot, because seeing different projects as well, they remind who you are. They remember, but also the style. And like I said, for me, whether you were in Whitesnake, whether you are with Cher, whether you're in Trans-Siberian Orchestra, today, if I suggest someone to learn some, at least how to play and how to be a musician, I would suggest you go straight forward to you or the Aldrich in this way. speaking for me as my own personal taste. So
Mhm.
just I will put the link. I don't know if there is a link or something that people can reach you out for the last guitar lesson that you have, or just they reach
Oh
out
yeah, yeah. People
not
can
through your
just go to my
website.
website. If they
Okay,
just go to joelhoekstra.com and they hit contact, that's
okay,
it. My email for lessons,
okay.
basically.
I will put that.
Anything through my
Yeah,
website.
I will put
Yeah.
that because I think it's for me something that I would suggest to my friend if they ask me whether they can go or do to learn, or if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Joel, for this interview. We finally made it without any
Yeah.
problem. It was nice to see you. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day and a beautiful rest of the day to you and your family. And see you soon somewhere in the world. And
All
looking
right.
forward to see TSO live soon one day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
It
I
was a
appreciate you having me
pleasure.
on. All right. Ciao.
Ciao.